years back, there was an interesting research by Dr. E. O. Wilson, which got published in the newspaper. Dr. Wilson offered the solution to all the ecological problems of the world. And amazing enough, startling enough, Dr. Wilson's conclusion was that if one species is eradicated from the face of the planet Earth, the world will be a better place to live. Shockingly, this species is the human species. Dr. Wilson concluded that each of the species have a positive contribution to the ecology, the interdependent balance, except one species. Rather, this one species has a destructive contribution to their ecological. Therefore, its conclusion: wipe off this one species. This raises a very important question to probe into, because we have been hearing from our birth that human species is the most intelligent, and therefore there should be the maximum positive contribution by the human species. No contribution, rather a destructive contribution. What does this mean? Does it mean that we are good for nothing? Then where lies the human potentiality, which people have been talking about, which traditions have been talking about, the uniqueness of beings, special prerogative of human beings? Where lies that uniqueness, that greatness, that potential? That is a question to probe into. And to understand that, let's try to uh, dive into the root of what drives, what do we want to achieve by various kinds of activities. People do so many numerous kind of activities, but what is that one thing which they want to achieve at its root level? That one word answer is happiness. Quest for happiness is what drives people. Now, if we try to look the life around us, we can see that in our day-to-day lives, our search for happiness, so we search for happiness in various kinds of activities like sports, intoxication, rave parties, adventure sports, fashions. But now, if we try to see this entire spectrum of these various kinds of activities where we try to find happiness and bring out the common factors in them, we can find out, or we can conclude that yes, there are these four common factors which drive any activity you want to do: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So happiness means improved facilities for eating, sleeping, mating. So if we try to go back into our examples, fashion is a drive for mating. You want to look very impressive. When girlfriend, boyfriend, adventure stores, again you want to show off yourself to win favors of a girlfriend, or to prove oneself. So the drive for either mating or defense. Similarly, rave parties can be a drive for mating, a drive for eating. Intoxication is all about going into a state of slumber, that's sleeping. And sports is again to be healthy. I mean, if it is no, yes, if it is a drive for health, so you want to be healthy to look impressive to others. That's a drive for mating and defending again. Or it can be, sports is also used as a symbol for national pride, which is defense, to show off yourself. So our drive for happiness is simply floating around eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. But the problem is, animals also have friends. They also have fun. They also have families. In fact, animals also find happiness in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Rather, if we can, if we do a comparative analysis, we can see one fact is very evident, that when we indulge in eating, sleeping, mating, defending, it's a little more complicated and sophisticated. Animals may do that in a little more simplistic way, but the point to note is that the quality of happiness we experience and the animals experience is much the same. Just like, say, for example, we may eat in a 360 degree rotating table, fine cuisines, and an animal may eat in a setting, say under a tree, but both of them feel satisfied and strength after eating. In fact, if we offer halwa to a pig, he may not appreciate that. He will only appreciate stool no, in a gutter. That's all. So the foods are not interchangeable. This goes to show that the quality of happiness is the same. Similarly, sleeping. A dog may sleep on a footpath, and a human being may sleep in a skyscraper building on a very fine on a space age bed, but both of them got to get up in the morning, both of them finished. Similarly, mating. No, so one may similarly mating. The drives for mating we can see are all riveted. A dog will not be attracted to Miss World. So it's all about installed settings. Animals have their own installed settings of from the avenues where from their drives for eating, mating, sleeping, and defending are satisfied. So the quality of happiness is the same. We may defend, a monkey may defend with its claws and teeth, and we in our own, we create our own borders, and we may defend with weapons, but the attitude and the mentality is the same. So in this way, we can try to understand that the quality of happiness is not changing, only the sophistication is changing. That's all. In fact, if we try to see the animals, we will see that each of the animal species have a certain unique speciality which helps them getting a superlative edge in their drive for eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. If, for example, an elephant can eat, can we compete with an elephant in terms of eating? Not at all. Can we compete with the polar bear in terms of sleeping? He will sleep 9 months a year. Not at all. So in this way, we can try to understand that yes, when it comes to eating, mating, sleeping, defending, animals can do it better than us. In fact, if we try to pinpoint what is the speciality, unique speciality of human species, it's not very easy to say. Somebody may say no rationality or intelligence, but animals also having a rational power. If a pet dog goes wagging his tail near his master and the master is not in good mood, he says, "Hut." The pet dog understands, this fellow is not in a good mood. So he goes and peacefully sits, at a distance apart. Similarly, a cat will never enter the kitchen when the mother is there. But when she is out, nobody is in the kitchen, she may pounce on the kitchen and drink the milk. So in this way, we can try to understand animals also have rationality. Therefore, it's not wrong to conclude that if when it comes to eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, animals have unique speciality. They are better than human beings. In fact, when human beings uh, absorb their consciousness, their whole lives, they center their whole lives around eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, then in fact, what to say of enjoying, they suffer more than animals. Like, for example, there is only one species in the entire, in the entire creation, on the planet Earth, which commits suicide. The most evolved. That's all. Why? Because the consciousness is just riveted to eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Therefore, what to say of enjoyment? The suffering quotient is. Just imagine if a dog in a street, a young dog, he gets attracted to a she dog who is seemingly beautiful, and then he tries out his chance for a romantic pursuit. But in between comes the entry of a more powerful, more stronger, more ferocious dog, and he wins the favors of the she dog. What is our poor dog going through? He goes into another street and finds a new dog, a new she dog. Now, now just imagine if in an engineering college, a young boy, he feels attracted to a beautiful girl, and then his attempts to win the favors of the girl are moving ahead slowly, progressively, but in between comes a more dashing, a more handsome, a more charismatic boy who wins the favors of the girl. What is our former boy going to do? If you look at statistics, there are so many cases of boys in colleges committing suicides. Somebody burning himself in oil, live, owing to the case of frustrated love. It's not so easy for a boy to go and wait for another year for a new batch of freshers admission and then find some new girl. So the point is that our consciousness is not just meant to be on the plane of eating independently. If we do that, we are prone to suffer more. Now we may say, no, material advancement, technological advancement is an answer. We have reached some material advancement. There are skyscraper buildings. The only problem is that people jump from the top floor of the building and commit suicides. There are jet planes. The problem is they cause jet lags. So what we have done with this technological advancement is that we have simply made us a more complicated deluxe edition of animals. That's all. Because in spite of technology, there is dissatisfaction, there is anxiety, there is stress, there is unhappiness. Why? Because technology is also driving simply the cause of eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Say for example, planes. People want to go faster from one place to another to do what? Same thing, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. People watch television, but what do they see others doing inside the television and movies? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So as long as we remain on this plane of eating, sleeping, mating, defending, we are just a royal deluxe edition of animals. That's all. That's all. Therefore, Prabhupada would say that a dog is running on his four legs and we are running on four wheels. What is the difference? Mahabharata tells us the difference. Mahabharata says, Ahara nidra bhayamaithunam cha samanyam pashubhin nara dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samana. So, ahara nidra bhayamaithun, these are the common factors between animals and humans. So the unique speciality of a human being is only the cause of dharma. When one gives up dharma, then a human being is as good as animals. To be samana. Therefore, it is only humans who can inquire about life and death and beyond. Therefore, human beings have higher intelligence. Now, here we can try to understand why Dr. E.O. Wilson said humans have no contribution on the ecological plane. Yes, because humans have no contribution on the material plane. Human beings are supposed to contribute on the spiritual plane. And therefore, human intelligence should be utilized to find out the cause for happiness, to inquire about purpose of life, to harmonize with God, to attain eternal happiness by awakening the spiritual nature of us. So therefore, the divine inquiry is the beginning point, is the turning point. One should inquire, why am I suffering? What is the goal of my life? That divine inquiry unleashes our unique potential. So yes, the first question, why am I suffering? Suffering is a universal phenomenon. So therefore, we see that yes, suffering can be expanded by illusory speculations and imaginations and so on. But suffering cannot be solved simply by some adjustments here and there. Why? Because there are real problems which are existing. Real problem is one which is common to all. Nobody wants it, and nobody can avoid. So, what are these real problems in our life which all of us face? There are four of them: birth, old age, disease, death. Birth is a problem for the child. Child is in 9 months in a dark womb and in a sack which is closed, completely in ignorance. So being in the womb is painful for the child and the mother. The delivery is painful for the child and the mother. The birth is a painful phenomenon. Old age. Nobody wants old age. A Texas millionaire spent $20 million for the research to stop old age. And the years were passing and the research was progressing, but poor fellow himself was getting old and he was getting desperate. But scientists were very happy because the scientists were saying, yes, our research is progressing. After decades, this poor millionaire was old, but then the scientists said we have made strategic advancement, leaps of advancement in the research. Now we exactly know how old age happens, how the various organs evolve. Everything we can do, we can model it, simulate. Problem is, old age is a big problem. Disease. We cannot avoid disease per se. Disease makes us so helpless. Just like we can see this one coronavirus and the whole world is helpless. Disease is such a big problem. And then death. The complete full stop to everything, death. Walt Disney kept millions of dollars in his will for research on bringing the dead back to life, and he had told that his body should be preserved so that when the research is done, he can be brought back to life. The uh, fear of death is so intense, drives people crazy. These are the real problems of life. So Bhagavad Gita says that one who knows these four problems as the real problems of life, such a person is in knowledge because he can understand that there is something colossally wrong on the material plane. Our consciousness needs to transcend this material plane. But one may say, no, 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 wait a minute. These four problems are only one-time affairs. Birth is one time, lifetime. Death is one time, lifetime. Old age, fine, 1, 2 decades, 2 decades. No, in a life. And disease, okay, maybe once in a year, twice in a year. Other times we can chill out, we can enjoy, we can squeeze our enjoyment. But that's not the case either. So these are one-time affairs. But then we can see that we are thwarted by problems every moment of our lives. Such problems are called as kleshas. There are three types of kleshas. The first one, adhyatmic kleshas, miseries due to our own body and mind. Mind makes us crazy. So we can see stress, tension, hypertension, suicide rates, and so on. And body. So miseries, there are these miseries because of mind and body which constantly torment us. Adibhautik klesha. Adibhautik klesha means miseries due to other living entities. Some or the other person is always there to discolor the various colors of our life. So time and again we see we get victimized by somebody's envy, somebody's vengeance, somebody's insensitivity, somebody's exploitation. Adi bhautik. Some or the other. Therefore, we can see even a family cannot stay together, a society cannot stay together, nations cannot stay together. There is adi bhautik. And then adhyatmic klesh, misery is due to natural disasters, the fury of nature. New Orleans took away 3.9 lakh lives. We become completely helpless when nature starts, uh, when nature starts slapping. We adhyatmically. Now, the next point to understand is that these miseries are there for everyone, even if somebody is strong, rich. No material factor can surprise this misery. To understand that, let's take this case study of the world heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a heavyweight boxing champion for many decades. He was unrivaled, he was undisputed champion. So many decades he was on the top of the world. Nobody could stand in front of him. and he would come, he would smash his opponent, and he would no, and he would always have a winning slogan, and he would say, "I fly like a butterfly, I sting like a bee, I am the greatest." That was his famous chant on every. I am the greatest, and in this way, Muhammad Ali was rocking the world. He was at the top of the world, but then all of a sudden, from top of the world, he went out of the world. He had disappeared from world screens. Nobody knew what happened to him. Where is he now? And he appeared on world screen after many years when he was given the honor of bearing the torchlight for the inauguration of the Olympics. And when he appeared, he could not even lift the torchlight because he was suffering from Parkinson's disease, which one cannot even lift a cup of coffee. And then that evening, many reporters surrounded him. One of the reporters asked him, "So Muhammad Ali, you used to tell that you are the greatest. What do you say now?" Muhammad Ali was very grave and he said, "I say now that I am the greatest fool." That's what he said. He meant to say that he spent all his life simply fluffing around in these material drives which don't have much meaning and happiness. Therefore, he called himself a great fool. So it is intelligence to transcend one's consciousness and absorption to the spiritual plane. Someone may say, but maybe science can solve the problems, suffering of life. If you try to see, yes, modern day medical facilities are increasing day by day. We have so many improved medical facilities, but still, uh, can we ensure health for everyone? Not at all. Why? Because one can eradicate a particular disease, say for example, but then we see over the decades so many new diseases are coming up which people had no idea about: AIDS, SARS, MERS, COVID. New diseases are coming up. We have no idea about what to do with it. So that's how. Not only this, many times we have also seen in medical history that not only new diseases, there is resurgence of diseases. A disease has been eradicated from the face of planet Earth, and after many decades, it appears again in a new avatar, in a more deadly and latent form. We are rendered completely helpless. So, material facilities are not able to solve the problems of life. In fact, we can see the material facilities are only creating a temporary comfort. That's all. It's like a painkiller. That's all. Like an antidepressant or a tranquilizer can actually tone down one's emotions, negative emotions, temporarily. But the agonizing, the empty state of the heart cannot be changed. To change the agonizing empty state of the heart, the scripts of the heart have to be changed. The way one perceives things, the qualities which one harbors, all that has to be changed. That can only happen when we synchronize with the spiritual reality of our life. This is a place in United States where there is a mountain of 6 million tires. This place is so toxic, there is no vegetation which goes there, and there are even the air is hazardous to the health. So this is an example of a shameful reality that how we have messed up our Mother Earth. So yes, science has invented bombs that can blast living beings into pieces, but it cannot create life. It cannot make life. Why? Because what science offers at best is a patch-up solution. Somebody is having white hair, the solution is okay, use a hair dye. There's wrinkles, use a facelift. If there's stomach pain, back pain, use painkillers. There's breathlessness, use oxygen tubes. But this is a patch up. It is not solving the problem from the root. It is just a patch up. So science and technology cannot eradicate disease per se from the earth. And it hardly has an understanding of life and death. So therefore, we can try to understand that uh, in fact nothing material can solve the sufferings of life. We have to transcend to the spiritual. Therefore, the Vedic Shastras give the analogy that we are like a fish which is out of water. When a fish is out of water, then any amount of facility which is given to the fish, be it a Mercedes Benz, a seven-star hotel, royal, delicious air conditioned atmosphere, nothing satisfies the fish. It needs water. Similarly, we are spirit souls. Now, the water for us is reciprocation in love with God. The human life is wired for God. When we don't have that connection to God, that reciprocation in love with God, then no matter whatever amount of facilities are created, there will be always a constant suffocation and emptiness. Therefore, the wise believe in God. The wise understand the temporary nature. They follow a regulated life of principles to ultimately attain God. For the foolish, they are mad after these way they waste their life. So we have to understand that we suffer these threefold problems, threefold miseries, the kleshas, and the four real problems of life because of acting sinfully against God's laws. Like a mischievous child leaves the custody of his parents, makes so rather we can see these God's laws increase our immunity. Just like a person with strong immunity will not get disease, or the disease will have a minimal negative impact. Similarly, the principles of dharma or religion, they are like they boost up our immunity, so we don't get hit by the problems of life so much. So, therefore, what should be the goal of our lives? Not explain Bhagavad Gita that we are not these bodies, we are the spirit. So, therefore, we have to worry about food for the soul. Reciprocation in love with God is food for. Therefore, the Lord explained that the great souls who are yogis in devotion, they never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the height. That perfection is awakening of one's relation to God, eternal relation. So this particular slide gives the analogy uh, uh, of a similarity between a car and a human body. Just like car is a vehicle which is supposed to be driven from one place to another, in a similar way, human body is a vehicle. And this vehicle is supposed to transfer us from material plane to the spiritual plane. From the material reality to spiritual reality. That's what is the potentiality of this vehicle of human body. It's a rare, wonderful vehicle which can transport us. Just like if a car is left in the garage, it is of no use. Therefore, a human body is not utilized to awaken our spiritual identity. And therefore, one should not simply polish the cage and forget to feed the bird inside the cage. The bird is dead, but the cage is looking. Similarly, one should not just feed the material body, or one should not simply fluff in the material energy, but awaken, feed the soul, feed the spiritual energy. So now to do that, we are seeing that the Vedas are offering us solution. The Vedas are offering us permanent solution to that, an alternative solution to that, how to awaken our spirit. Now many times people may say that some people say no, Vedas are outdated, they're mythological and so on. So there are many people, although they may deny the existence of God, they may not accept the importance and the efficacy of the Vedas. They may reject Vedas on the first note. But then people are very eager to accept the gifts which are given by Vedas. And these gifts are a normal norm all over the world. It's like yoga, meditation. Everywhere, anybody in the whole world is excited about the name yoga and meditation. Similarly, we can see Vedic mathematics, Vastu Shastra, organic farming, uh, herbal products like Iswa toothpaste, Medimix, so many herbal offerings. So, Vastu Shastra. So, although mankind may say superficially that we reject Vedas, but they are accepting the gifts which are given in Vedas. So Vedas are a very solid body of knowledge, which give us these internal principles which can eternalize our happiness, which can awaken our spiritual identity. So belief in Vedas is not blind, because Vedas prove their substantiality. Just like over the ages we have seen, over the years we have seen that the Vedic texts predict the appearance of various personalities who have appeared in history. Gautam Buddha's an appearance was predicted, Bhagavatam, similarly Chanakya, Ashoka, Christ. Vedas are also offering us amazing scientific truth. So our scientists have taken time, and recently they have found out this truth. But these truths are all explained in Vedas, just like plants of life. Found out when Jagdish Bose did it, but the Vedas talk about it. Similarly, only with the modern day, say for example, the microscopic technique and yeah, spectroscopic technique, we can understand, okay, how does an embryo grow look like? And Bhagavatam explains. Third canto is a vivid explanation of embryo growth. So in this way, whether it is ancient Indian metallurgy or whether it is uh, organic farming, Vedas are uh, are uh, are explaining, or Vedas are abounding in plenty of indefeasible, truths which our science is discovering of late. Just like just like in any science, there are axioms. Axiom means you cannot feel it, touch it, eat it, smell it. You have to accept it. It's a rule. It's what creates the plane, and then you can play in the plane. Just like many electrical calculations of current and three-phase current is all done in complex algebra, in which you have to accept the imaginary unit I. Now we may say, okay, how do I feel and sense and logically understand I? You cannot. You only have to use it in calculations, accept it. But and when you get an answer, then you can measure with your instrument the current reading, and the answer will match, and that's how you can understand it's so powerful. This is called as an axiom. Similarly, Vedas are speaking about many truths which we cannot feel, eat, smell, taste, so on. But if we follow it, apply it, we will see that the result which the Vedas are offering in our life, and it solves the problems of our life. The calculated result the Vedas are offering and the result we experience here match. That's how we can understand that the Vedas are a powerful body of science. But if we understand that, so then this way we can see that Vedas are offering us a powerful alternative to happiness, which is eternal, which is amazing. They are offering us, opening us a new dimension that we can thrive and live on a spiritual plane where there are no problems. Where there are no problems. But the point to note is that now, although the gifts of Vedas like Vastu or yoga, meditation, etc., are so amazing in themselves. But if we probe into the Vedic Shastras, we can understand that these are all side effects, byproducts which the Vedas are offering. Their real product which they are offering, their topmost gift, what they are offering, the Vedas are offering, is they are awakening our spiritual reality. They are awakening our spiritual identity, reawakening our spiritual nature, reviving our lost relationship with God, reawakening our love for God. That is the topmost gift they are offering. Why not try it out in an enthusiastic manner and see for ourselves the amazing dimensions which open up and take us beyond all these limitations and these choking sufferings which we have discussed, into a plane of eternal happiness and fulfillment and meaning. Thank you.